Hoi en welkom bij de Scapino podcast. De podcast waarin je alles te weten komt over onze voorstellingen, onze makers en de dagelijkse praktijken van ons gezelschap. Mijn naam is Iris en ik ben contentmaker bij het Scapino Ballet en een groot liefhebber van dans en theater. In deze aflevering hebben we het over onze voorstelling de Square2. De Square is een dansconcept waarin 3 choreografen samenwerken met 1 artiest uit een andere discipline. Met z'n vieren maken zij een avondvullend dansprogramma, waarin zij wel allemaal verantwoordelijk zijn voor hun eigen deel van de show, maar waarin wel alle stukken samenkomen tot 1 geheel. Een van de choreografen die meedoet aan de Square is Mario Bermúdez Gil. Mario is een choreograaf en een danser uit Spanje, waar hij ook samen met zijn vrouw Catherine een eigen dansgezelschap heeft, genaamd Maakt Dance. Mario, how did you get into dancing?
Wow, how did I? I started very, very late, I think, because before I was a dancer, I was a runner for my whole life. I trained, I raced, and I did competition and national. But then I got an injury, and when I was 20, I was a guide, you know, these people in the nature that guide through like the walks and like climbing rocks and jumping, whatever, rope and all of this. And all of a sudden I was dancing and teaching in the disco on the night to the kids, and every teacher would come and see me dance. It would be like, why don't you start dancing? I'm like, what is that? Like, yeah, I love dance, but like I didn't know that it exists because I come from a very small town, remote in the south of Spain. And then I decided to, from the help of one of these teacher, to do an audition that the teacher told me you should go here, and that's how I started in like more theatrical hip hop and singing scenic, we call it scenic academy. And I passed and I loved it. It was my first experience with like hip hop and jazz. And from there, it was more connections, people that you met in the street or even in the work. And they say, you should go more to this. And then I met contemporary dance. And that's when I started like dancing in Seville, in a Centro Andaluz de Danza, it's called. And so I started there my career. That's how I started.
And what is it about dancing that you love?
Well, for me is how the balance of my soul and energy that it needs to, and the physical also, because I was a runner. I feel that the physical effort and the passion to devote to yourself in every day and the training. But now dance, it has a input which is the passion, the feeling, the soul, and now engaging more to yourself. And so that is kind of like a drug, and that's why I love to dance, and I feel very connected because I connect more to my own self.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
And can you tell us a little bit about your part?
Well, my part, it's the beginning of the piece, is the opening. And yeah, the piece is all about this. We as human can be sometimes lost. How it's hard to go to that place, because when you get lost, you basically are not conscious of it. So that sensation of not being conscious and being lost, and playing with the feeling of being lost, is what's it's really interesting for me, creating with the dancers, and to try to achieve to that place by escaping, by being together, by being aggressive, by being passionate, because sometimes there's this stubbornness about that, going somewhere that you feel connected, but sometimes you think it's the right way and it's not.
And how do you approach something like this? Is it like, do you also involve the dancers in the choreo, or how does this work?
I first present my plate. Let's say, this is how I like to eat. Okay, this is the ingredients I love, and this is what I told them. And then they try to eat those ingredients by feeling it in their bodies, the way, the language, how we move. And that is the base. And from that, we continue like exploring. But basically, I have a lot of emotions towards this new journey, because for me, as I say, I'm a dancer as well, and so I want to explore that as well in my body. And so I try to give it to them, and share with them, and so they can explore as well.
And where do you get your inspiration?
It depends for which piece I'm making, that's for sure. For this one specifically, I think it's always come from where I'm from the base. The base where I'm based is in the south of Spain, in a remote town. Silent. It's a very important thing for me. The endless of time is also a very important inspiration for me. And the calmness and the roughness of nature, the raw nature as well. It's a very important, because it's the pure, for me, that's the pure thing of life, and that's the base. And from there, I take it to the concept we're working on. So whether it's a happy or sad or whatever concept about the piece, I try to have that base again, like how I come to the studio and give them my ingredients, the class that I do. Is the same thing for choreography. I have to come from a place that I'm connected, and I have my groundness, very strong, and then I can go beyond with this into the concept that we're working on.
Yeah, and you're talking about peace and quiet, but when we hear the music that Richard made, it's quite intense. It's quite the opposite, actually. How does this work together?
Because inside the silence and calmness, there's a lot of intensity. That is exactly what I'm trying to say. Like, inside silence, sometimes silence can be louder than the music loud. That is exactly what I'm trying to say, to express that. Also, the feeling of lost. The feeling of lost sometimes can be a beautiful thing, that you get lost because you will find yourself in a very different place. Sometimes when we are lost and we are, kind of like sad because we didn't achieve something, but then the outcome might be positive if you take it, or negative, but at the end it will always work. At the end you will be in a different platform, in a different place. So that is exactly what I'm also trying to do with the music. And
what are you most excited about when it will be in the theater?
Oof, good question. I think just to see the whole evening, it's not just my piece. I would like to see how we can make it the whole evening. Of course, I go more towards my piece because it's my what I create and the feelings. I'm excited to see the whole thing, like the 3-dimensional, the richer in the back, the projection, the lighting, the costume, how it all match with the white lino and the black lino in the back. It's maybe, I don't know if I'm saying too much, but I think that feeling of having so much stimulation, I want to see it live and see how it works. It's going to be challenging, I think, to when we are there in the theater, but I feel that it could work very well, and also the emotions of the people will have from it, because the music is very, very beautiful.
And are you proud of the things you already created so far and about the team?
I think so. I think we're in a great place because of for me, it's not just the results of the piece. For me, it's about the process of it, and the process has been incredible. The dancers are being open. We have ups and downs, but I think all as a team, we really went through it and said, no, we need to keep being in the same bubble, that with the same ingredients. Let's keep the ingredients together, and so I think that's my result. And of course, it's also like what they feel, the journey they're going through. And that's for me the result as well.
Well, I'm very excited to see the dinner that you're ending up with.
Well, I'm also really excited. I hope you like the flavors.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Ben jij nou na het luisteren van deze podcast benieuwd geworden naar de Square? Wil je weten wanneer we in een theater zijn bij jou in de buurt? Of wil je gewoon meer te weten komen over het Scapino Ballet? Ga dan naar www.scapinoballet.nl of vind ons op social media. In de volgende aflevering praten we met choreograaf Antonenko Mastas. Hij vertelt ons over wat dans zo bijzonder maakt voor hem en hoe hij zijn deel van de Square vormgeeft. Bedankt voor het luisteren en tot snel in het theater.